All right, welcome. Um, if you're new here, if you've been here before, regardless, welcome. I want to talk about life force, energy, prana, chi, whatever you want to call it, the thing that permeates us, the thing that gives us our will, because that's really what it is. It's our willpower, the thing that makes us strive towards our dreams, towards our passions. Because I think in today's day and age, our will, we'll call it in this segment, right? We'll call it our will. Our will has been hijacked in a way by sort of overarching bodies, things that try to take your dreams away from you and force you to be a cog in a machine for someone else's dream, as opposed to living the way that you were designed to embody the uniqueness that you are, the unique expression of the divine that you are, and showcase all of your gifts to the world. That dream, that deep thing that's harbored within you. We've been so we've been led so far astray from that concept that for a lot of people it's not even fathomable to pursue that calling, pursue that dream anymore. So I want to try and keep this short and sweet because there's a litany of topics I can get into, and I think it would provide for a really, really good series to just talk about your will or your life force energy. There are so many different ways that we talk about life force energy, right? Let's think. We have prana, we have chi, we have just energy, we have Kundalini, we have cerebrospinal fluid, we have Christ oil. Um, and then when you look across, fiction and just across media in general, they all have some sort of reference to that power within you. The thing is, we spend too much time arguing like what exactly it is or what we should call it, when the essence of it is always going to be the same. It doesn't matter if one person calls it prana and one person calls it chi. It still is something that resides within you and has the same functions as, like, regardless of what you call it. So it's important to get rid of the idea of what it is actually called or which belief system is right about it, and acknowledge that they all have their own truths to it. The goal is to try and find the truth that resonates with you the most, and then claim that back. Claim back your power, claim back your life force energy. Because when you claim it back for yourself, you're able to redirect it towards something that is beneficial for you, and not just something that upholds or supports something that honestly perpetuates suffering for a lot of people. So let's talk about it. When I first like really, really, really went down this hole of trying to discover what this energy was within me, right? First thing that I was led to, obviously, I'd heard of prana, I've heard of chi, life force energy, all of these things, willpower. I've heard the concept, but I didn't piece everything together to understand that, wow, this is a real thing that exists within me until I had what a lot of people consider a Kundalini awakening. Kundalini is a practice where basically, and I'm going to try and explain this in simplest terms. I've talked about chakras on here before, but basically the chakras all operate within the spine. The spine is a very, very ancient esoteric symbol that resides within the body, and it's because of what the spine operates as. I don't fully want to get into that right now, but basically you have this dormant energy resting at the base of your spine. You can call it prana, you can call it chi, you can call it kundalini, you can call it whatever the hell you want to call it. Doesn't matter. You have it. It's energy. It's dormant there until you choose to actively start awakening it. And to do that, you move the energy up and down your spine. As you move it up and down your spine, it purges out these different chakra systems. It goes up the spine from the root all the way up to the crown and back down. In this is the Kundalini rising and awakening. As it goes up the spine, purging out each of these energy centers, it makes its way to the crown, and your crown essentially opens. Now you've opened, and see, this is another reference to um, another belief, I guess. This is also, your spine is called a prana tube, or there's a prana tube that's linked to your spine. It's The same, but different, but the same. When this prana tube is activated, it allows for the life force energy to go from your root or from, the base of the spine all the way up to your head. And it allows for ease of communication between all facets of the nervous system. When you take advantage of your life force energy, you are able to come into alignment with all that you embody. So, if you're seeing this video and you clicked on it because you were like, life force energy, this is something that is interesting to me. I know I have it. I know I have some sort of power within me, but I don't fully understand it. Tap in with me. Make sure to subscribe. We're going to go on an in-depth series to talk about this kind of energy, because the first thing is awareness. When you become aware of it, you start to call in information and you really want to understand it more. You set the intention to understand it better. Now, subconsciously, you're going to be attracting things that are going to educate you more on it and are going to bring you more in tune with that life force energy within you. That's just the way that life works. When you set the intention, you are subconsciously attracting those things. So you set the intention, you start attracting these things. Here is your sign. You're getting a video now that's introducing you more to the topic of life force energy, but opening your perspective to understand that you can get that information from all sources. It doesn't just have to be the one dogma that you relied on. You don't have to just think of it as Christ oil and follow the teachings about Christ oil. You can also look at it as prana and follow the way that they taught about prana. You can also follow it as Kundalini and look at the ways that they talk about Kundalini. You can go through your favorite anime and find out the chi system or the mana system, whatever it is. It all resembles the same thing, and you can gain wisdom from all different areas of it. It's just about finding what resonates for you. So this is like an overarching intro to that force of energy that dwells within you. When you really, really set the intention to tap into it, right? And I don't mean, just acknowledging that it's there. When you truly set the intention to become a master of it, to understand it and work with it instead of working against it, when you set that intention, be prepared for things to shift. Things will begin to shift in your life in order to bring you into balance. Because when you bring yourself into balance, and I wish I could, just simply manifest like a diagram to show you this, but think of yourself, right? You have your spine, your spinal system. And if you are familiar with the chakras, think about each of the 7 chakras going up your system. Now, for all intents and purposes, we're going to think about me being, not on this journey at all, completely separate from my highest self. Let's say you have all these chakra centers, but they're imbalanced. They're all skewed. So they're not actually in line with your system. What happens when you become aware of this energy and when you work towards understanding it more and developing it further, all of these systems need to be brought in alignment with your spine, which shakes off a lot of dead weight. A lot of things that are keeping you out of balance need to be yanked free in order to bring you into that state. But trust, when you are in that state, when you are able to freely manipulate your will and direct it towards the things that are for your highest good and for the highest good of all, it changes your life. It changes your life. Take it from me, take it from anyone else that you can talk to that understands somewhat what this means. It changes your life. No other way around it. For the better. It's not always sunshine and rainbows. You have to understand darkness in order to also understand light. There's duality, but changed my life for the better. And I'm sure it has changed many others. With all that being said, this is short. This is supposed to be short because it's opening you up to an expansive world of just esotericism, really. When you understand life force energy, you can see a broader understanding of energy. And when you have a broader understanding of energy, you can analyze how the same archetypes manifest and, merge to create all these different things that we have here, that we created. The divinity, created it and then put us here and allowed us and gave us the free will to create. And that's what we do. We create. And it's the best thing. But with that being said, subscribe for more. This is going to be a series. We're going to talk about life force. We're going to talk about ways to kind of activate it, how it's been represented throughout different mythologies, throughout different religions, and just in media as well, because I think it's also very interesting the way that they talk about it and kind of hide it through shows and movies and books and stuff like that. Um, it's all very, very interesting to me. So if it's interesting to you, stay tuned, subscribe for more. Make sure to like, comment if you were here. I love talking with you guys. We're obviously forming a community. If you guys are on TikTok, follow my TikTok at Trev's Truth. I post a lot of more short form content on there, but about this kind of stuff. I've talked about life force energy on there plenty of times. And there's a big community over there, a bigger one than we have here right now, but I'm sure that'll change at some point. Other than that, thanks for being here. Stay blessed.